Tonight, tragic update as a family requests privacy while they grieve.
Not only there's a police investigation, but now there's a coroner investigation.
The 13-year-old girl who had a piece of clothing get stuck in a chairlift has passed away. Remembering former radio host Lowell Green.
It was through Lowell Green's show that people expressed their views, and politicians would listen to his show to know what people thought about the issues.
The man with the legendary love for broadcasting died suddenly on Valentine's Day at the age of 89. Plus, Family Day is also marking the last day of Winterlude.
There's just way more to do here than I even thought.
We'll have a roundup of activities that kept the National Capital Region occupied. Good evening. Patricia is off this week. An Ottawa family, while in the midst of grief, is taking time to say thank you tonight. They say they're devastated to share the 13-year-old involved in last week's chairlift incident at Vorlage ski hill has passed away. But as they mourn, they're sending a message of gratitude to the community. While police tape indicates a ski resort shut down by an emergency, a small pink pony and a bouquet of flowers leaves the lasting impression of how young the person at the center of it was. First responders say a 13-year-old girl had a piece of clothing get caught in a chairlift at Centre Vorlage while on a school trip last week, and that she was left stuck out of her seat high above the ground. Too high for anyone to rescue before emergency crews arrived. By the time she got back to the bottom of the hill, she was in critical condition. That was Wednesday. Now, less than a week later, her family says they are devastated to share she did not survive. Releasing this joint statement with the Children's Hospital in Ottawa, they also say this: "We would like to extend our love to all of those affected by this terrible tragedy. We are also grateful for everyone who took heroic action to help save our precious child." Her sweet, bubbly spirit and love for those around her will live on through the lives she has touched and the lives she has saved through Trillium Gift of Life organ donation. The popular ski resort has been closed since the day it happened, but is scheduled to reopen Tuesday, issuing the following statement: "Safety remains an absolute priority for our entire team, and the resort will continue its efforts to ensure a careful and respectful return to normal operations for everyone affected by this tragic accident." Even then, Ottawa's largest school board is suspending all ski trips involving chairlifts, and the investigation isn't over.
Not only there's a police investigation, but now there's a coroner investigation. So a coroner was named on the Ontario side. That person will work closely to our detective. Same goal. We want to know what happened that day.
We have extended coverage of the fatal chairlift incident at Vorlage Ski Hill. You can find more online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. A giant of Canadian broadcasting and longtime radio host on News Talk 580 CFRA has passed away. Lowell Green is being remembered as a passionate community advocate and a voice for Ottawa residents. For decades, he dominated the airwaves in Ottawa and helped create meaningful change in the city, province, and across the country. Tonight, his family is grieving the loss of not just a public figure, but a brother, a husband, a father, and grandfather.
I miss calling him, and he always had something funny to say. I'll miss his jokes at Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving and the stories he would tell. I'll just miss having him around as a grandparent figure. He was funny, just like he was on the air. He was amazing at storytelling, the best storyteller that you could think of. He would put on these accents and different personalities, and he was so good at it. And he was warm, and he was kind, and he was very family-oriented.
Those sentiments from Lowell Green's granddaughter, and his family says he passed away suddenly on Saturday. CTV's Dylan Dyson joins us now with more on his legacy and career. Dylan.
Stefan, Lowell Green had been on the airwaves here in Ottawa since 1966, starting as a news and farm reporter before becoming the host of his prominent call-in talk show. He retired from broadcasting in 2016, but his impact is still being felt to this day.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Harry, you're on CFRA. Good morning.
A legend of Ottawa's airwaves, Lowell Green, has died.
Lines available, 521-8255. If there's anything else that you want to discuss, let's do it, folks.
Green was known for his 5 decades on News Talk 580 CFRA and as host of the ever-loved call-in program, The Lowell Green Show.
He really believed in the things that he stood for, and he'd stand up for them vehemently sometimes, passionately most of the time.
Among his accomplishments, helping create the Ottawa chapter of Big Brother, the Help Santa Toy Parade, and the Rideau River Conservation Authority. And one of his biggest passions, promoting Canadian unity during the Quebec referendum of 1995, when he organized a unity rally in Montreal. In a statement, Bell Media Ottawa's Director of News and Information Programming, Joanne Wu, said, Lowell set a standard for opinion-driven broadcasting that was fearless, unmistakable, and deeply rooted in community. Beyond the microphone, Lowell was a tireless advocate for local causes, charitable organizations, and civic initiatives.
Why in 13 years, you damn liberals, haven't you provided the daycare you say is absolutely fundamental to raise a safe child?
Friends and former colleagues remembering the iconic voice of Ottawa who championed local issues.
He basically pioneered the format of talk radio in our city and in our country. It was through Lowell Green's show that people expressed their views, and politicians would listen to his show to know what people thought about the issues.
I think the ability to have a role in the life of the community, to play a role, an important role, and it has been an important role.
When he retired in 2016, he was North America's longest-running open-line talk show host.
As many of you have suspected, today is the last day of the Lowell Green Show.
Green leaves behind a legacy that continues across Ottawa's airwaves to this day.
Every time the clock ticks over to 10 o'clock, I think about how this was Lowell Green's spot. He casts a shadow, and a shadow is supposed to be weightless. I've got to tell you today, it's crushing me.
I wanted to find the truth. I spoke and said what I felt was true. I never faked it. I did it from the heart, but I always did my best.
Lowell Green died suddenly Saturday at the age of 89. Following his retirement in 2016, Green continued to contribute to CFRA's talk shows until 2022. Green also received multiple awards, including the Queen Elizabeth II Golden and Diamond Jubilee Medals and the Radio Television Digital News Association's Lifetime Achievement Award. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Dylan Dyson reporting for us tonight live. Thank you, Dylan. Current News Talk 580 CFRA morning show host Bill Carroll writing on social media, Ottawa and Canada have lost an absolute legend. He inspired and rallied Canadians on many important causes. Lowell Green has passed after 89 remarkable years. He provided the template for any broadcaster who wants to share their views with this great country. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre also offering his condolences. Part of his statement reads, Lowell was the voice of the common people of the Ottawa Valley. Day after day, he would fill the airwaves with the truth that no one else had the courage to speak. He was a voice of the hardworking majority of people so often forgotten by those in power. And we have more on the tributes pouring in for Lowell Green and how he is being remembered online. You can visit ctvnewsottawa.ca and condolences to all who knew and loved him. It is the final day of Winterlude and likely one of the busiest. Kids were off school for Family Day. Many parents also off work, and the weather was favorable for winter fun. Thousands of people were out at the festival sites enjoying the sunny blue skies and mild temperatures. One of the busiest spots was the Rideau Canal Skateway. According to the National Capital Commission, there were more than 141,000 visits to the skateway over the weekend, and that has had an impact on the ice. So the canal will temporarily close tonight at 10 p.m. to give crews a chance to smooth out the surface. The NCC says it will reopen the skateway as soon as possible. CTV's Kimberly Johnson was out talking to skaters and other people enjoying the final day of Winterlude. Kimberly.
Steph, hundreds of volunteers came together to make this festival possible for the hundreds of thousands who came out during the 3 weeks of action.
Oh, this is so high. This is so high.
6-year-old twins Ikel and Anea are getting ready for a big run.
You're going to slide into a gigantic slide of snow. I'm going to scream for joy.
They're enjoying Family Day at Jacques Cartier Park's Snowflake Kingdom.
It's about enjoying the winter, living the winter despite being in a hibernation at home. But we get to enjoy Winterlude every year.
Families flocking to the gigantic winter playground for the final day of Winterlude.
Had an amazing time skating on the canal all winter long. We've seen the ice sculptures, and this is the last thing we haven't done. And there's just way more to do here than I even thought.
Winterlude officials say that across all of the sites over Winterlude, they see about 500,000 people. The festival drawing people to the hills and snow and to the ice. The Rideau Canal packed with skaters enjoying the mild temperatures and sunshine Monday ahead of the skateway's temporary closure. Others taking in the ice sculptures at Confederation Park.
It's amazing to have this in the middle of the city and on a beautiful winter day.
Winterlude officials say the chilly temperatures this year allowed for the ice sculptures to hold up through the entire festival.
The third weekend right now on the final day has been probably the most popular, most attended out of all 3 weekends.
There are 87 ice sculptures across the region, requiring more than 1,000 ice blocks.
I like the journey home because I find they use a good technicality and I like the base plate and the terrain.
The sculptures and Winterlude igniting Liam Connor's imagination.
Overall, I very much like it. I like it very much.
Some fun facts as the festival wraps up. There were 500 volunteers helping to run the festival and 42 ice and snow carvers. And this year, the coldest temperature felt during the festival was on Sunday, February 8th, when it hit minus 25 degrees, but felt more like minus 37 with the wind chill. Steph?
Oh boy, shiver just hearing those numbers. Thank you, Kimberly. CTV. Still ahead, Family Day in the capital. A look at how some embrace the time off from work and school, meant to give added quality time to the people they care about the most. And here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam right now. It is -1. Now for a first check on weather, Jackie joins us in studio, and -1 is certainly much better than those temperatures Kimberly Johnson was talking about.
Yes, and I mean, if myself, like many people, probably waited until this last weekend of Winterlude for the temperatures to warm up and didn't have to brave that -25 that we had for the first 2 weekends of Winterlude. And taking a look at conditions right now, really across Eastern Ontario, you could already see the warm up happening at Cornwall and Brockville at 3 degrees, but really it's sitting around -2 for most of Eastern Ontario. Tonight, though, we could see some freezing drizzle as well as some light flurries moving through really around the valley in Ottawa. Tomorrow morning, Brockville anticipates some rain, and this could lead to some icy conditions as well because we do have a freezing drizzle advisory in effect overnight into Tuesday morning. We'll have a full look at your weather forecast in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. An historic site in the Hintonburg neighborhood could soon disappear. There's a plan to demolish the Carlton Tavern and build a high-rise at the site, but the developer says it does want to rebuild the pub and give it a much-needed makeover. The Carlton Tavern is located at the corner of Armstrong and Parkdale Avenue. CTV's Dave Charbonneau has more on the redevelopment plan.
For more than a quarter century, Len Mackey has called the Carlton Tavern his home away from home.
25 years, maybe, or more.
Like many regulars, he's concerned the historic Carlton Tavern could be gone soon. Taggart Realty has submitted an application for a 38-story development in this entire block.
Hoping they'll leave the bottom part just as a tavern. Hopefully.
The proposal would include 465 units and 322 parking spaces. The Carlton Tavern would be reimagined as part of the new development.
As part of the development, Taggart is proposing to put another building that would have lots of nods to the current Carlton and presumably for some kind of a restaurant use, whether that is the Carlton Tavern relocating back into the building or another business. The Carlton is a storied institution in Ottawa. Generations of people who have worked at Tunney's Pasture, for instance, have popped in here for after work beers.
The Carlton Tavern's history dates back to 1935 as a hotel. However, the building does not have official heritage protection.
It's not a heritage building. It would be difficult to declare it a heritage building. So Taggart is within its rights to propose that demolition.
Demolition is proposed because of its age, structural deterioration, and the need for major site remediation, including cleaning up groundwater contamination. Councillor Leeper states many residents are concerned about the development. Others support it.
The concept and the drawings look wonderful. So and maybe to replace some of these little bit run-down buildings would be fine. I don't think so. Going to revitalize this area, right? Because now Hintonburg is supposed to be the place to come and hang out. But yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I think it might be time for a little bit of a refresh, and it's probably going to be a great bump for the market, because the market isn't quite the same as it was years ago, so maybe that'll bring that back up. It's going to be a hugely tall building though, so it's going to be kind of a standout in the neighborhood.
Councillor Leeper has scheduled an open house February 24th. The owners of the Carlton Tavern declined to comment on the proposal. Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
The public service cuts will see dozens of positions eliminated at Library and Archives Canada. The department has issued letters to 94 employees informing them it plans to cut a total of 56 positions. Thousands of letters have been sent to federal public servants as the government looks to reduce the size of the workforce. A 47-year-old man is in hospital with life-threatening injuries after an ATV crash in the city's West End. Emergency crews were called to Northwoods Drive near Constance Bay around 10:30 last night. The ATV was the only vehicle involved in the crash. Investigators are looking to speak with anyone who witnessed the collision or who may have dashcam footage. The RCMP has completed its investigation into the crime scene at Tumbler Ridge High School after last week's mass shooting. 5 students and a teacher were fatally shot at the school last Tuesday after the attacker killed her mother and brother at their home. The shooter took her own life as police arrived. There's still no timeline on when students may return. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is in Mexico City leading the largest Canadian trade mission to that country in decades. While the visit is meant to strengthen bilateral relations, it's also an opportunity for both countries to strategize ahead of this year's review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more.
Hundreds of delegates representing business and key sectors across Canada are taking part in the biggest trade mission to Mexico in decades. Led by Minister Dominic LeBlanc, Canadians are meeting with Mexican government officials, policy experts, and industry leaders.
It's a long time coming. We're in a continent that we share. This is an opportunity to go well beyond where we have been.
CUSMA protections have shielded most Canadian and Mexican commerce from U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. But with the Americans threatening to scrap the trilateral trade pact in favor of separate agreements, Canadian stakeholders are looking at bilateral relations with Mexico in new light.
We haven't actually leaned in to what CUSMA, our trade agreement, affords us, and we just have not invested in building the relationships or educating ourselves or connecting those businesses.
Merchandise trade between Canada and Mexico has increased 12-fold since the original NAFTA came into force, but business leaders see potential to gain more market access.
With the current negotiation or revision of USMCA CUSMA, it's important for us to be here on the ground and see if there's potential for our producers to expand their export to Mexico.
With the required joint CUSMA review coming in July, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced today he's tapped longtime senior public servant Janice Charette to be Canada's next chief trade negotiator to the United States. Charette will work closely with Mark Wiseman, Canada's new ambassador to the U.S., who just started in D.C. this week.
Well, of course, she's an incredibly experienced and seasoned bureaucrat and diplomat. This is exactly what we need.
Reacting to Charette's appointment, the Conservatives said Canadian workers need results and not another bureaucrat or negotiator. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
It was another successful day for Team Canada at the Winter Olympics. The country picked up some more medals, and the Canadian women's hockey team is going to the gold medal game. Freestyle skier Megan Oldham captured Canada's second gold medal of the Games. In the women's big air final, she also won a bronze medal last week in women's slopestyle. And Courtney Sorrow picked up her third medal today. She won silver in short track speed skating this morning, finishing second in the women's 1,000-meter race. And on the ice, the women's hockey team beat Switzerland 2-1 to advance to the gold medal game where they'll face the U.S. Captain Marie-Philippe Poulin scored both goals, breaking the women's Olympic goal-scoring record. And on the curling rink, Team Homan won twice, keeping their playoffs hope alive. But Canada's men's and women's curling teams are engulfed in a controversy. CTV's Garrett Barry has the details on that.
The dust still has not settled at these Olympic Games after an eyebrow-raising, particularly tense curling match between Canada and Sweden's men's teams on Friday night. And at the heart of it all is not only the swearing by Canadian third Mark Kennedy towards his Swedish counterpart, but also a technical controversy.
Sweden had accused Kennedy of touching the granite part of the curling rock after releasing the handle. Curling officials then stepped up enforcement of rule violations at these Olympic Games. That move is quite rare in curling, a sport that has traditionally seen players enforce the rules themselves.
The first page of the World Curling Rule Book is titled The Spirit of Curling, and it's a lot of fluffy, poetic words about how, you know, yes, we have a rule book, but realistically, as long as everybody's just nice to each other, then the rule book almost doesn't even matter.
The extra enforcement seemed only to escalate tensions when an umpire intervened and pulled a rock thrown by Canadian women's skip Rachel Homan on Saturday night. It likely cost her a point in a 1-point extra end loss against Switzerland. Afterwards, she told reporters the situation was absurd, insane, that she was unfairly punished, and denied any wrongdoing. On Sunday, curling officials abandoned that enhanced scrutiny and went back to old procedures where teams would have to request officials come and watch for violations.
Part of the issue, according to Canadian curlers, is that this is the sport's highest stage and not, they say, the place to change the rules or how they're enforced. Garrett Barry, CTV News, Milan.
And Canada is now 13th in the standings with 2 gold medals, 4 silver and 5 bronze.
It's Mama's first tubing experience as well, so couldn't be any more like family day.
Just ahead, some unique locations. Kids and parents are enjoying Family Day across the capital. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Stefan. Family Day may be coming to an end, but the mild conditions will be sticking around. Overnight lows sitting around -2. Yes, there is a risk of freezing drizzle for parts of eastern Ontario, but tomorrow it is going to warm up once again to 3 degrees. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where right now it's about -1. Fairly calm winds here in downtown Ottawa, and beautiful display of lights on Elgin and Spark Street.
Saving lives is what they do. February is Heart Month, and together we can support the University of Ottawa Heart Institute in providing world-class cardiac care. For almost 50 years, our community has played a critical role in advancing the Institute's life-saving work. Your donation will support groundbreaking research, innovative patient care, education, and prevention. To learn more, visit FebruaryIsHeartMonth.ca.
Proudly sponsored by CTV.
Here's today's snow report. At Camp Fortune, 5 of 7 lifts are a go, 21 of 27 runs. Edelweiss, 3 of 5 lifts. All 23 runs are operational for skiers and snowboarders. And at Mont Cascade, all the lifts and the majority of the runs are full steam ahead. Similar conditions at Calabogie Peaks with all 3 lifts a go and 21 of 26 runs fully a go. Thousands of people were out enjoying Family Day across the region. Many were outside taking part in winter activities, but others also had a chance to learn about heart health during Heart Month. CTV's Camille Wilson has more.
Winterlude isn't the only popular attraction this Family Day. Maria Martinez and her family are at La Domaine de l'Ange Gardien near Gatineau.
We wanted to find something winter, something family, something to introduce me as well to the Canadian culture. Mom is from Brazil.
Getting a chance to try tubing for the first time.
It couldn't be any more like family day. Papa's Canadian, so it's a mix of all of these elements, and we are having so much fun.
Hundreds of families spent the day at the snow tubing hill.
We have some nice snow, nice sunny day, so it's a really amazing day. So we're welcoming Family Day, people from Ontario. We're glad to see everyone.
8 slides to slide down from, full of fun, but safety first, a helmet recommended. In Ottawa, others enjoyed the holiday at the Mayor's Family Day skate party at the Rink of Dreams with live music, activities, and beaver tails. And over at the Nepean Sportsplex, it was all about heart health for the first annual Ottawa Mega Heart event.
And we're just really excited to get people talking about heart health and discussing heart-healthy behaviors, learning from each other, connecting, and hopefully having a good time with the family, the kids.
With activities and education for the whole family.
Pick up the oxygen. It's very important for adults, but equally for children to really know at their tender age how their heart works, how it pumps blood, how important it is for the organism.
Some former patients sharing their stories at the event.
I believe I need to get back, to give back to the Heart Institute as they saved my life. So on March 3rd, it will be 11 years that I have my mechanical valve. Without them, I wouldn't be here right now.
It's so important for everybody in the family to learn about heart health and to start doing heart-healthy behaviors.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
It was a mild family day in the capital, and similar temperatures are in the forecast for the rest of the week. Many taking advantage of the weather to get outside on family day, but we are now under a freezing drizzle warning. And Jackie Bears is joining us right now for more of a check on the weather forecast. And Jackie, the canals temporarily closed at 10 o'clock tonight. There's a freezing drizzle in store. I was looking forward to the above zero temperatures, but it sounds like it might be messy.
Yes, the good news is the freezing drizzle, it won't be lasting very long, but the idea is it's happening maybe in the next couple of hours and will last just past midnight. So we're keeping a close eye on this, but it should clear by tomorrow morning because we're anticipating some overcast skies and more mild weather on the way. You could already see that weather system moving through just from west of us, and by later this evening we could see some light flurries moving in through Pembroke area, even some light freezing rain as well. So keeping a close eye on this once again. Right now temperatures sitting around -1. We saw a daytime high of about 0. So this is a closer look at what we can see. It's that wintry mix really moving through just west of Ottawa and south as well. But tomorrow morning, we will likely see some rain by Brockville, especially with those warmer temperatures. But again, it could lead to some slick, icy road conditions for that morning commute as well. So keep an eye out on this. Now, taking a look at tonight's lows across eastern Ontario, sitting between -2, -3. That freezing rain advisory still in effect for really much of eastern Ontario. Tomorrow's daytime highs, we're looking at temperatures sitting around 2, maybe even 3 degrees, but for the most part, most of the afternoon will be mainly cloudy skies. This is the good news because we are anticipating mild conditions to carry us throughout the rest of the week. Across the country now, you can see that, again, mild temperatures around Fredericton and Charlottetown sitting around -3, -4 degrees. See that warm weather really pushing through from the southwest. Windsor at 5 degrees right now. Toronto sitting around 3. Sunshine in Thunder Bay, temperatures sitting around 3 degrees. And yes, the warm up kind of coming to an end for our friends in the prairies. You can see that cold air really moving down from Yellowknife down to Edmonton and Saskatoon, where temperatures are sitting between -5 and -7 degrees. So we did talk about that freezing drizzle advisory still in effect overnight into Tuesday morning. A winter storm watch is in effect for parts of Ontario, including Peterborough, Belleville, as well as Toronto, where by Wednesday we could anticipate 10 to 15 centimeters of snowfall, even some freezing drizzle. So we are keeping a close eye on this. Lots of it will focus along the Toronto, even Great Lake area. So really down south of Ottawa. So we could see effects in Kingston as well as Watertown, Peterborough as well. Again, that snow really moving through. We're not seeing that in Ottawa right now as we get into Thursday, but this could change as we get closer to our Wednesday. Now, the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. So in the morning for tomorrow, keep an eye out. That freezing drizzle, daytime high 3 degrees. The chance of flurries could linger for Wednesday, but the daytime high is going to be 0. Thursday, mix of sun and cloud. That overnight not loving so much, -11 into Thursday, but we will warm up to about -1. Friday and Saturday, though, that's what we really want to keep a close eye on because we could see some heavier snowfall moving in. Stefan.
All right, just a grab bag of everything in that forecast. Thanks, Jackie. Ottawa's photo radar cameras may be dark, but tens of thousands of drivers still haven't paid the speeding tickets they received last year. We'll share how much the city is owed in outstanding fines just ahead.
Tonight, remembering an Oscar-winning Hollywood legend.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Tributes pour in for the versatile and unforgettable Robert Duvall. Later on CTV National News and Watch on Crave.
CTV News community and weather anchor Jackie Perez. Weeknights.
There's a new report into a major scandal that rocked Quebec and had people lining up in the cold for services 2 winters ago. It points the blame at high-ranking civil servants, saying they lied to the government for a decade about massive cost overruns at the Automobile Insurance Board. CTV Quebec Bureau Chief Geneviève Beauchemin has those details.
C'était ça que vous attendiez tous, je pense.
In a more than 800-page report, Judge Denis Galland provides a detailed roadmap of the scandal.
Trop vaste, trop ambitieux.
He calls the program to digitize services of the SAAQ, Quebec's Automobile Insurance Board, too big, too ambitious, too risky. It was the biggest of its kind in Canada when it was launched. But Galland also says officials deliberately lied for 10 years to hide cost overruns pegged at around $500 million. In 2023, the fumbling of the website launch forced Quebecers to line up in the cold for hours as they raced to register their vehicles or renew their driver's licenses.
Il y a une ligne qui va d'ici jusqu'au Pérou, là.
There's a line from here to Peru, said this man at the time.
Il y a des longues files d'attente.
The scandal drove down Quebec Premier François Legault's popularity. He says the report now clearly shows his government did not know the full extent of cost overruns.
Les recours judiciaires.
And he says he's looking into potential legal action against officials who lied.
C'est un hold-up.
But one opposition critic says Quebecers were victims of a hold-up of public funds and that government guardrails failed.
Even if the SAAQ lied to them, then they lied to us. Délibérément menti.
Galland says asking top officials to be honest seems to go without saying, but he did make 26 recommendations, including to set up a specialized digital transformation team within the public service. This to lessen reliance on contracts with big private companies. That's possibly a lesson for other jurisdictions as provinces race to digitize healthcare and other services. The Commission says this scandal should not discourage other digital transformation programs, but could serve as a warning signal. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
In tonight's big picture, Hawaii's Kilauea volcano is once again erupting. The eruption began yesterday afternoon, sending fountains of lava and hot ash into the sky. This is one of the world's most active volcanoes and has erupted several times over the past year. Now to some other stories you need to know right now. The province deactivated photo radar cameras across the province in November, but the city is still owed millions of dollars in unpaid tickets. New data provided to CTV News shows there are more than 81,000 unpaid photo radar tickets worth $12 million in fines. The cameras went dark November 14th, but anyone who was nabbed by photo radar before then still has to pay the fine. If you have a Toys R Us gift card, today is the final day to use it in Canada. A judge ruled the struggling retailer could stop accepting gift cards after it filed for creditor protection 2 weeks ago. Court documents showed Toys R Us had more than $36 million in outstanding gift card obligations.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
They shot Sonny on the causeway. He's dead.
Oscar-winning actor Robert Duvall has died. Over his decades-long career, he played roles in several iconic films, including The Godfather 1 and 2, Apocalypse Now, and To Kill a Mockingbird. He was nominated for 7 Oscars in total. His wife says he died peacefully at his home yesterday. Duvall was 95 years old.
Heathcliff is gone. You must accept it.
Moviegoers fell in love with a new take on a literary classic this Valentine's Day weekend. Emerald Fennell's adaptation of Wuthering Heights brought in $34.8 million U.S. across North America. That put the film starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi in first, followed by the animated basketball movie GOAT, which secured $26 million in ticket sales. Heist film Crime 101 debuted in third with $15.1 million.
Maybe the concern would be, I guess, winter. What happens in extreme cold weather and whatever, like what's the performance like?
Just ahead, what drivers need to know about the new federal EV rebates, which came into effect today.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
February is Heart Month, and supporters of the University of Ottawa Heart Institute are helping light the capital red. Orleans Toyota is proud to support the campaign because heart health impacts every family in our community. By participating, it wants to help raise awareness and contribute to life-saving research that keeps customers, staff, and neighbors healthy for years to come. In an effort to get more Canadians to go electric, the federal government is bringing back EV rebates. The program kicks in today and offers thousands of dollars off electric or plug-in hybrid vehicles. CTV's John Venevali-Rao has more from the Canadian International Auto Show in Toronto. John.
Well, here at the Auto Show, a lot of the focus is on EVs. They're all over the place, with automakers showing off their latest models and hoping sales will get a boost thanks to the return of that federal rebate. As of today, if you buy an electric vehicle for under $50 grand, you can get $5,000 off a full EV, $2,500 off a plug-in hybrid. Now, while Ottawa and Beijing reached a deal recently, allowing nearly 50,000 EVs built in China to be sold in Canada at a much lower tariff rate, none of those qualify for the federal subsidy, which is aimed at reviving sales, which took a hit after the rebate program ended last January. According to BMO Economics, sales of EVs fell from 15% of the market in 2024 to about 9% last year. Still, despite the discount, some of those here checking out EVs express concerns about the charging infrastructure in Canada and vehicle range.
Yeah, just the range in the winter time. They tend to be like 30% less.
Maybe the concern would be, I guess, winter. What happens in extreme cold weather and whatever, like what's the performance like?
I feel like that ecosystem isn't as good in a place like North America because everything's so far apart. So that anxiety is always there.
Now, there are about 14,000 public charging stations in Canada, but some EV advocates say that's still well short of what's needed to achieve widespread adoption. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
As a proud Canadian, it is my privilege and honor to provide you with the enclosed Canadian flag.
Coming up, celebrating the maple leaf, a Prescott woman receives a patriotic gift 17 years in the making.
Far side pass, and it's an early shot. He scored!
Welcome back. Yesterday was Flag Day, marking 61 years since Canada's red and white maple leaf was raised over Parliament Hill for the first time. People across the capital celebrated the national symbol over the weekend, and as CTV's Josh Morano reports, this year's milestone was particularly meaningful for one Prescott woman.
As a proud Canadian, it is my privilege and honor to provide you with the enclosed Canadian flag.
It's a letter Teresa Jansman has been waiting for nearly 2 decades.
We didn't think about it much, but once in a while we would comment, I wonder where we are on that wait list.
In March 2009, the Prescott native and her 2 children visited Parliament Hill, learning about the history of the Canadian flag that flies on the Peace Tower.
The obvious question was, when you replace it, where do the old ones go? Because they replace it quite often.
She was told the flag is replaced every workday. Knowing this, Jansman signed up to be put on a wait list to receive one of the flags. After 17 years, it finally arrived. All 230 by 460 centimeters of it.
I received this letter, signed and everything. It came with what the date was that this particular flag was flown.
According to the Government of Canada website, the current waiting period for the Canadian flag on the Peace Tower and other Parliament Hill buildings is over 100 years.
We like the maple leaf. It's unique, so it's very strong symbol. We're supporting Canada.
February 15th is Flag Day, marking the anniversary of the first time the red and white maple leaf flag was raised in 1965. In Ottawa, Winterlude included Flag Day celebrations. Visitors taking a spin on their flag knowledge and showing their appreciation.
It represents just people coming together and Canadians celebrating our heritage and history shared across all the provinces.
But most of all, I'm just grateful to live in such a beautiful country.
For Jansman, she says her pride is as big as her flag, but now she has to decide where to put it.
A few suggestions, but nothing's been decided yet. It's now become a family heirloom, if you will.
Josh Morano, CTV News.
Coming up, it's still winter here, but the Blue Jays are hitting the ground running with energy and optimism as spring training kicks off in Florida. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. No spring-like conditions for this evening. A freezing drizzle advisory is still in effect, and this could lead to some icy, slippery conditions overnight into tomorrow morning. So around 8 o'clock, we could likely see a little bit of that freezing range just south of Ottawa, maybe some light flurries in Pembroke. It should clear just after midnight, but tomorrow morning, keep an eye out, especially along the Seaway. We could see some rain moving through around the Brockville area for that morning commute. Taking a look at the next 2 or 3 days, well, temperatures still sitting around the freezing mark. Chance of flurries for Wednesday and a mix of sun and cloud for Thursday. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where it's -1 right now, showcasing Lord Elgin in downtown Ottawa. You could still see some of the lights celebrating the final day of Winterlude.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's what's coming up tonight right after the news. An episode of E-Talk starts at 7, then half an hour later, you can watch The Big Bang Theory. Extracted starts at 8, then back-to-back episodes of The Rookie at 9. And here's a recap of the top stories we are following right now. An Ottawa family grieving the loss of a young girl.
Not only there's a police investigation, but now there's a coroner investigation. So
the 13-year-old who became trapped on a chairlift at Vorlage ski hill last week has passed away, and police continue to investigate exactly what went wrong.
He basically pioneered the format of talk radio in our city and in our country.
The Ottawa community remembering Lowell Green, the iconic radio host, passed away over the weekend at the age of 89. He dominated the airwaves in the city for decades and created change not just here, but across the country.
Had an amazing time skating on the canal all winter long. We've seen the ice sculptures, and this is the last thing we haven't done.
It's the final day of Winterlude, and residents and tourists were out enjoying the sunshine and mild temperatures at the Winter Festival. But a reminder, the Rideau Canal Skateway will temporarily close tonight at 10 o'clock so crews can smooth out the ice surface. And Jackie is back with a final check on the weather. And as they try to smooth out that surface, Jackie, sounds like there's going to be some mixed precipitation in the forecast.
Yes, a freezing drizzle advisory is in effect for the Ottawa region tonight into tomorrow morning. So when you wake up or you're heading out the door at 7 a.m., it's going to be about 1 degree. Again, it could lead to icy, slippery conditions. Again, this is overnight into Tuesday morning. Another alert that is now in effect, winter storm watch. And this is really around the GTA along the 401 as well. So Belleville, Peterborough area, 10 to 15 centimeters of snowfall is expected, as well as icy, slippery conditions. It doesn't seem to be affecting us here for the Wednesday. There is a slight chance we could see some flurries. Thursday, mix of sun and cloud. It's really Friday and Saturday that I'm keeping a close eye on because the chance of snow is getting greater as we get into Saturday. But if you look at those daytime highs, we are still hovering closer to the freezing mark. So I'm going to take these mild conditions, Stefan.
All right, sounds good. Me too. Thank you, Jackie. Finally, for us tonight, we may still be in the midst of the winter games, but baseball season is just around the corner. And today, the Toronto Blue Jays held their first full squad workout in Florida. The Jays took to the field at Dunedin's TD Ballpark with several new faces around the clubhouse. The players today stretching and running as spring training kicks into high gear. Toronto starts preseason action next weekend when they face the Philadelphia Phillies. Looks nice down there, Jackie.
It looks gorgeous there, but it's exciting to see baseball is back. This is going to be the 50th year for the franchise, 35 years at this Rogers Centre. I was going to call it the Skydome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a great season for the Blue Jays.
Of course, you know, and it means spring and summer's around the corner. Who would have that?
Got to get through that freezing drizzle and the snow first.
Thank you for raining on my parade in a frozen way, Jackie. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow.